I hold over 10,000 XRP. It's been a crypto that I've been talking about on my channel for a very long time. In fact, my first cryptocurrency when I got into the space was XRP. And 5 months ago, I made a video talking about if you hold 10,000 XRP, please watch this video. More of a self-reflection on my current thesis on XRP. This was during a time where the tariff news was hitting. Bitcoin was $80,000 and people were just really didn't know where things were going to go. But in this video, I said the following. It is such a good time to be in the crypto markets. It's not the time to sell. Like, not financial advice. You do whatever you want. You know, you need to feed your kids. I understand. You need to sell. Nothing against that at all. You have to do what you have to do. But if you have the money to stay in the markets, what I'm doing is I'm sitting. I'm sitting because exactly. I did exactly that. And I was able to go ahead and have a price appreciation of about 50% in that time frame. XRP has gone to $3 and looks like it's going to go ahead and have a great quarter for 2025. I've gone ahead and organized my thought process as to a person with 10,000 plus XRP. What I'm going to be going ahead and doing in this quarter. I'm not going to be holding forever. I think we're all under that bandwagon. And at some point or another, we're going to have to decide to take profit on this coin for whatever reason. This is that time to start thinking about that because quarter four 2025, that's the peak of the bull market. And so is this a time to continue to buy XRP? Are we leading into a breakout $10 plus? I'm going to be looking at that and more in this video. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, the current state of XRP, it's very bullish. I am not a guy that uploads 300 XRP videos every single day. XRP is a long-term position. It's not a position that I need to make YouTube videos every 5 seconds to farm views and get my affiliate revenue. It's the kind of crypto that I grab and I just hold. This is the chart of XRP since 2017. I actually have a really cool historical snapshot of XRP during a time where it almost flipped Bitcoin. There's a time in 2017 where XRP was actually pretty damn close to flipping Bitcoin. It was at about $3.37, so not too far off where it is at right now. Bitcoin was at $16,000. And this was coming off the news that XRP was going to be a payment network. We see these days the same narrative does exist, and I think the same narrative for $3 XRP does exist. But I think if we're going to go ahead and start to zoom out and try to get to a $10, $100 plus XRP, the investment thesis changes. I actually made a recent video on Ryan Somali. He's a guy that went ahead and created Solana's biggest treasury ever. He put about $1.65 billion worth of investment. He's the chairman of this treasury company. And he said that initially his thesis for Solana was that it was going to be a decentralized NASDAQ. But zoom out into 2025, he has a different investment thesis because your investment thesis for a crypto asset at 30-cent XRP is very different from an XRP at $100 plus. And so what he ended up doing for Solana is he believes in internet capital markets. So he believes in equity being on chain, banks being on chain, and Solana being that layer. Now, when it comes to XRP, I am a believer in exactly that. When I got an XRP, which was about 30 cents, and I don't even know how many videos on this, and it was the first crypto I got into when I actually entered the crypto space. My investment thesis was that once the United States of America adopts cryptocurrency, XRP would be one of the main beneficiaries. They are also going to be let's just say, a blueprint for what a cryptocurrency should or shouldn't be as a result of the SEC case. Now, that ended up being true for the most part. We had XRP have significant involvement of just pretty much every aspect of crypto in America, and that's why XRP's done as well as it has so far. And now, I don't think we can use that same blueprint because things have changed. My investment thesis has changed on XRP. If I'm going to be expecting a $10 XRP, if I'm going to be expecting a $100 XRP, we need to change our investment thesis. And so I want to share my updated investment thesis on this. And that's why I am making this video 5 months later, because things have changed a lot. So here's what's going on. XRP's got about a 95% chance of their XRP ETFs going through. ETFs at this point are being delayed for regulatory reasons. They're pretty much guaranteed to pass. We're getting the next news piece, the deadline for the Franklin ETF for XRP, November 14th. We'll see if it ends up coming through. Once the ETFs are live, the Made in America cycle is my new thesis. Now, the original thesis was that they'd be the blueprint for American cryptos. But now, my big thesis is as a result of the Genius Act coming into the United States of America, that these cryptocurrencies that are developing payment rails, the ones that are trying to get the banks on board and have retail adoption, these are going to be the big American cryptocurrencies that are just going to dominate. And it's been clear that Trump, America, is very keen on going into the stablecoin market, and that's been big for cryptocurrencies like XRP. So here's what I think is going to happen. Once these ETFs go live, the Made in America cycle is going to go ahead and continue. We're going to have cryptocurrencies like HBAR, XLM, XRP absolutely skyrocket in value. Major funds are going to be accumulating XRP, and retail gaining the ability to enter through stocks is absolutely enormous. A large portion, this is a fun fact, of current ETFs in crypto are retail-based, something the XRP army has been able to foster. We know the XRP army is all over the place, and they, clear as day, are, I mean, you can't ignore the XRP army. They are everywhere on YouTube and everywhere all over the space and just on the internet in general. Here's something interesting. The main observation, this is from a fund, is that the effects of these spot ETFs being approved are still unfolding. Retail participation remains very high, with about 75% of ETF assets under management held by non-13-F filers. Yet this round of data, this is interesting, shows meaningful progress among institutional players. The steady growth of advisors' exposure, coupled with several prominent disclosures, is promising for future demand. So institutions are beginning to adopt more. They're slowly grabbing more coins, but for the most part, I mean, these crypto ETFs are all retail. And for the people that are saying that the XRP ETFs are going to be underwhelming, I don't know if you've looked at YouTube or really anywhere, any corner of the internet when it comes to crypto. XRP interest is very high right now. It is extremely high. And so we're going to get a good amount of demand here, billions of dollars likely, coming in through these ETFs. That's what's going to end up happening here. I mean, I think it should be obvious to everyone that this is happening. And in terms of the actual data about, institutions, because they're the ones that are going to be buying our bags at the end of this day, the amount of Bitcoin that they've been grabbing is pretty staggering. It is a lot. I mean, compared to last year, they have been buying tons and tons and tons of Bitcoin. So what this tells us is more than likely this is going to go trickle down. Once they make their Bitcoin profits, they're going to want to make their Ethereum profits. And guess what's happening right now as we speak? We've got Tom Lee, which today we got the news. He accumulated $200 million more of Bitcoin. He's got $9.2 billion worth of ETH. $9.2 billion worth of ETH. I corrected myself there. That is a lot of money, like a heck of a lot of money. This is going to flow into XRP. It's going to flow into XRP. It's going to flow into Solana. XRP is going to be one of the big winners for retail. Here's something you should know. In July, the SEC listing standards for crypto ETPs, exchange traded products, became public, revealing a requirement of at least 6 months of futures tracking before a listing. So if we're going to be getting an ETF, we need at least 6 months of futures. XRP was listed on Coinbase's derivative exchange in April, paving the way for US spot ETF approval and listing in the fall. So all of these timelines are aligning. The final deadlines are aligning. This is why these delays keep happening. They want to go ahead and see 6 months of futures tracking. It happened in April, so we have to go ahead and wait 6 months to get that big listing, which is coming very soon. In July, these things came public, and if you want a little bit more on the exact details on the amount of S1 filings, there are 8 active S1 filings to launch a spot XRP ETF in the United States, and with 3 spot XRP ETFs launched in Canada in June, and Hashtag launched the world's first XRP spot ETF in Brazil in April. So absolutely enormous deal. This is coming from Mizari. I love Mizari when it comes to crypto reports. If you're looking at crypto reports and you're looking for some alpha, look up a Mizari crypto report because they're killing it. And now, things that get me very excited. Look at the Ripple XRP partnerships. I'm not going to go through all this because this is a heck of a lot. This is a lot of partnerships. But they have the connections, to say the least, to make this happen. RLUSD is going to be a pivotal point for XRP. The stablecoin mania that the Genius Act has gone ahead and pushed for crypto is going to be a big part of where I think XRP is going next. If they can manage to get stablecoin demand on RLUSD, start using that XRP ledger to get some fees, that's going to be a big deal for XRP. There are a lot of people that think that RLUSD is going to cannibalize XRP's vision, but I think people are looking at this the wrong way. If RLUSD grows, which very much is growing, look at the market cap, it's increasing pretty drastically over time. Then what's going to happen here is as they're using the XRP ledger, it's going to burn coins because people are using XRP for gas. That's what's going to happen. So that's always a great thing. We like to see that. The more adoption of RLUSD, it's only going to help XRP long term. They've done quite a few deals to try to grow the stablecoin. They bought a stablecoin platform in a $200 million deal, which is a big deal. And then they also bought prime broker Hidden Road for $1.25 billion. That is a big deal. I think it's one of the biggest deals in crypto history. It's absolutely massive. Here's what Brad Garlinghouse said when Genius Act went ahead and passed. The U.S. market is effectively open for the first time due to the regulatory overhang of the former SEC coming to an end, and the market is maturing to address the needs of traditional finance. Prime brokers help in the day-to-day operations of clearing, securities lending, leverage trade execution, among others. Large hedge funds and institutional investors usually avail these services. Hidden Road clears $3 trillion annually across markets with over 300 institutional clients. So they're going for the institutions here. The deal is going to allow them to expand with Hidden Road using Ripple's balance sheet and become the largest non-bank, very big, non-bank prime broker globally. That's huge. Ripple will also become the only crypto company to own and operate a global multi-asset prime broker due to the deal. That's a huge, huge, huge deal. The acquisition also announces Ripple USD's utility as Hidden Road uses the stablecoin as collateral across its prime brokerage products. So I find RLUSD is going to be a big part of this puzzle. I was looking into Mazzari's report, and honestly, the XRP ledger is kind of boring right now. I hate to be that guy, but nothing very exciting is happening on the XRPL. The amount of TVL is increasing. I mean, that's always great. We had a pretty big spike here in July, August, but overall, just not much is happening. I would say that the most exciting part of XRPL is RLUSD, or using XRP as gas. That's always great, but that's not really an immediate catalyst. That might happen in the next couple years. We want to see the adoption for XRPL grow over time. That's going to burn more XRP coins. That's kind of feeding into that narrative that we've heard David Schwartz say time and time again about burning tons and tons of XRP. This is kind of the stuff that we want to see when it comes to an asset class like XRP. If we're going to see $100 plus XRP, we need less coins. I mean, there are too many coins out there right now. If we're seeing a $10 XRP, we can stick with this narrative. Like, I think for a $10 XRP, this narrative fits very well. A $5 to $10 XRP by the end of this year, this narrative is more than okay. But if we're trying to get $100 plus, we need to get XRP coins out there. We need to make sure that there is an enormous amount of volume entering the XRP ledger, because we got to find a way to burn some coins. And so what are the things that we're looking for and the timeline surrounding these things? Now, I used AI for this, so I'm not going to just say this is accurate at all. But the timeline is pretty accurate. So Ripple Swells Conference is happening November 4th and 5th. We're trying to see, is there going to be big news here? I think there's probably going to be some kind of big news catalyst that we're going to be able to cover here, and it's going to be a big deal for the XRP price. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to pretend to speculate what it is, but something, hopefully a partnership comes out here, and that can only be a good thing for XRP. I don't see a bearish scenario. I think like if it's a nothing burger, people won't really care, but there is a positive upside if we do get something nice for the Ripple Swell Conference. That can always be a good thing. Now, November 14th is going to be the big one. It's going to be the Franklin ETF decision. That's going to be the big moment when it comes to XRP. We get that approval. We get an XRP ETF. That is going to flow billions of dollars into XRP. We want to see partnerships. We want to see adoption. I don't think there's a bearish case here for stagnation on XRP ledger. I think this is a bit ridiculous, but I think if we get adoption, it's going to be a great thing. We don't have a ton of adoption right now on the XRP ledger, but as RLUSD gets listings, which I think it's going to get in Q4 2025, we're going to see a lot of volume flow into XRPL, and this graph is going to be looking very, 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 very different. I want to go over the bullish case for XRP and the bearish case for XRP right now. This is going to be from Forbes. So Forbes went ahead and wrote this. This is the source. Bullish case is a legal clarity from the case dismissal. It removes a significant barrier. That's been true. We know that. Ripple's global reach and corridor optionality means clients can go ahead and start with stablecoins or fiat and shift XRP when it delivers better economics. That's great. The XRP ledger's AMM functionality could deepen on-chain liquidity, reducing volatility and slippage, making XRP more attractive for high volume payments and DeFi integrations. If US spot ETFs launch and custody solutions expand, demand could be bolstered by passive investments. So I think that is a reasonable bull case for XRP in the next couple months. Now, in terms of bearish case for XRP, they pretty much just say that maybe other stablecoins outgrow XRP. I don't think it's a very reasonable one, but we could give it a try. We could read it. Stablecoins could outcompete XRP in corridors where foreign exchange is minimal and volatility is undesirable, with Ripple's own RLUSD potentially cannibalizing. I don't think it really makes any sense. And they're saying maybe some of these other people could just do better than XRP, which XRP already has a huge advantage. And especially considering the tech they've already built, they have a huge advantage. They have the partnerships, they have the prime broker, they have the tech they need to be successful. So it depends on Ripple Payments' network volume flows. I think that Ripple Payments will be an important thing for a $15, $20, $50, $100 plus XRP. I don't think it's going to be important for the rest of this bull market. I hate to be that guy, but I don't really think it's that important. I would say the most important thing for the rest of this bull market is probably the ETFs. The ETF news is going to be an absolutely huge thing. And of course, the crypto market's running. I think we're going to be seeing 150,000, 200,000 Bitcoin. I am not going to be pretending to be some kind of genius. The job numbers were really bad. They were revised 990,000 jobs. I mean, that's 1 million jobs that just were not there. And rate cuts are all but guaranteed this month. That's a bullish thing for the markets. The next 3 months are going to be pretty damn bullish. September 17th, here are the probabilities in poly market. We got an 82% chance on a 25 basis point cut and a 17% chance on a 50 plus basis point cut. That's absolutely huge. Only a 2% chance we don't get a change. It's almost guaranteed we're going to get one. We have a 28% chance here that it doesn't happen October 29th. 62% chance it actually happens though. So more than likely, we're going to have consecutive rate cuts. That's going to lead a ton of liquidity to flow into the crypto markets. It's going to align with the ETF timing. I don't think people understand just how important it is to have proper timing in the crypto markets. When liquidity is flowing, you want things to align. And right now, all the stars are pretty much aligning. And so let's answer the title here. I mean, I'm holding over 10,000 XRP. What am I going to be doing with my XRP? Well, very simply put, I am going to absolutely take my initial investments out in Q4 of 2025. No brainer, I'm going to be doing that. I've been holding XRP since 30 cents. I want to take my initial investment out. I'm up a lot on my XRP. It's only reasonable that you do that. I say once the ETFs come out, we see that initial hype, we see a $4, $5 XRP. That's that time to start taking your initials out. XRP is held way too well, way too well to think that it's not going to be going higher here. It's just looking so strong in comparison to the rest of the crypto market that a $4, $5, $6 XRP is way more than just in the cards. It's all but likely. And so when that happens, I'm going to be taking my initials out. I'm going to be looking here to see what happens. And also, I'm going to be exploring the DeFi ecosystem to see, are there ways where I don't need to sell my XRP. I get there's XRP staking. I've seen videos on it and people are excited about it. But is there a way where I don't have to take profit on this? Because I bought XRP in 2020 and it's been a long time. It's been 5 years. It's been 5 years. It's a long time. So I learned this bull cycle from last bull cycle that I got to be taking my profits. So I'll probably be taking about half at least of my XRP by the end of this bull market. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll over the other half into the next bull market. I don't care if XRP goes down 80% or 70% or whatever normally happens in a bear market. I'm more than okay with holding it. This is a long-term play. I think XRP is a cryptocurrency that's going to be around the next 5 years. So I still want to have a pretty substantial amount, but I'm absolutely going to be taking my initial investments out as the XRP ETFs come. I'm going to be going ahead, taking a pretty good chunk of my XRP out of there. And I'm also going to be leaving a very solid amount of XRP here to capture upside if we get it. I mean, who knows? 2026 could be the big year. Think about it. If we're going to be getting this quote unquote blow off top here, at the same time that all these ETFs are passing and all these major institutions are accumulating billions of dollars worth of crypto, what's to say that in 2026, we don't have a continuation of this bull market? So that's why I want to have exposure to XRP just in case this happens. But I also don't want to be delusional in the sense that I just never take profit ever. It's okay to take profit, and you should be encouraged, honestly, to take profit. You should be encouraged that if you're up 1,000% of your crypto, which in this case we are, we should go ahead and explore taking profit at some point. And so those are the levels that I'm going ahead and personally looking. And hopefully I answered that question. You know, if you're holding over 10,000 XRP like me, this was a useful video for you, gave you some further clarity as someone that is in that same exact ballpark as you. If you enjoyed that video, subscribe. I do plenty of these big old breakdowns in the crypto space. Stay classy, and I'll see you all in the next one.